YouTube, B Smokehouse back here with you. Let me show you what I got today. What we got today? And we doing something prolific. That's a big word for me, prolific. We got a meat grinder right here. I've got all my attachments for it in the freezer. And then we got a mixer. We making a Smokehouse Burger. Actually, you can call it the B's Prolific Smokehouse Burger, if you will. So here, what we got some short rib. This is about 2 pounds of short rib. And then we have the rest is gonna be chuck roast, right? We got the mixer because we're gonna make our own buns today. I'm gonna make a nice burger sauce. We're gonna get that on camera as well. I've got my burger press and I've got my wax paper. We're going to get this ground here shortly, and then we're gonna put it back in the freezer, back in the fridge, because the thing when you grind meat, you want to make sure that everything's cold, which is why my attachments for the grinder are in the freezer. I'll be back when we're gonna start grinding this meat. All right, we're gonna get these patties pressed out. All right, I go in with a piece of wax paper. I go ahead and form my meat. And the reason you wanna do this right after you ground your meat, and you still wanna make sure it's cold, which was the reason I put it back in the fridge for about 15 minutes. Fridge or freezer. Typically you want freezer. However, I don't have any freezer space at the moment. All right. So proteins, once they're being grounded, wants to take the shape of something. All right. If I left the proteins here in this container, this restaurant pan, and I put it in my fridge, once I got up in the morning, this meat will have taken the shape of this this pan. It's just easy to go ahead and press it out. Yeah, so when processing meat, that's kind of like one of the first rules. Now, what can you do with this ground meat? Anything else that you would do with ground meat that you purchase from the store? So this, you know what's in it, because it's what I put in it, and I know what I'm using it for. I probably won't use all this for burgers. Probably get me 4 to 6 good ground patties. We're gonna cook these up tomorrow for you, along with my Japanese milk bun dough. I'm gonna get up in the morning and do it. You guys will be here with me. Stay tuned. Quick burger recipe, but I promise you this is gonna be one of the best burgers you've ever had. Better than any burger from a chain restaurant you've ever had. Stay tuned. I have washed my hands. I'm out of gloves, guys. So every now and then you'll see me run off the screen. I'm washing my hands. This meat is a bit greasy. This is one of the reasons you want to keep everything cold. So the fat that we can see, we see those little, all that white, that's fat, right? You want to keep the meat cold so that fat doesn't start melting. That will start melting on you, right? So now we got a good half-pound burger. Now put it over here with the other ones. So ideally, you could freeze, get you some burger pucks made and freeze them. You freeze them. The only thing you got to do is pull them out, let them thaw. Pull them out, let them thaw. So here in the next few weeks, I also will be making some sausage, right? And I'll show you some of my tips and tricks on how I get the sausage I like. The flavor profile I like. Some of the things I do to help make my casings come out with a snap. Not everybody in Texas does sausage. However, that's a Texas staple. Some people say that the measure of a Texas barbecue restaurant is in the flavor of their sausage. If nothing else from scratch, that sausage will be made from scratch. All right, so we just make sure we don't have no gaps in this, no air gaps. All right. That's 3 patties right there. All right, I will see you guys back when I have knocked a few more of these out. More than likely, you guys won't see me until the morning when I get up and I start on my dough recipe. I'm going to knock out about 6 of these, and I'm going to place them in my fridge overnight. That fridge, the coolness of the fridge will help this meat bind and stay together. If I were to go ahead and try to cook this right now, I could cook it, right? Depends on the recipe. But if I was trying to make burgers, right now, I put this meat out on my grill, it's gonna fall apart. You gotta give this time. The proteins want to come back together. We're gonna give it time to do that. I'm gonna press out 3 more of these and I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, we back. We're gonna go ahead and get this Japanese milk bread buns done. All right, so I've got my stand mixer here, nothing fancy, just one I bought off of Amazon. I've also got a metric scale. Usually when I do my baking recipes, I go by my scale because it's a bit more accurate. It's a bit more accurate by weights, right? So now, here's my mixing bowl. Into the mixing bowl, I've got 3 cups bread flour. I mean, you can use regular flour, bread flour, you're gonna get a little bit more bang for your buck. You're making a nice dough. Now we're gonna go in with my sugar. Descriptions will be down and underneath the video. And I go in with my salt. Now we're gonna get that mixed together by hand. I'm gonna get this on my stand mixer. Up and in. All right, let me show you what I have. So this is my dough ball. I got a little flour on the board. So we're gonna mix it. You can tell the dough's already supple. You see that spring back, how it pops back into place? That's what you want. So now I'm gonna form this so I can let it proof. Again, proofing is a way to strengthen your bread. I gotta get some structure out of this, right? You can really say this is an enriched dough because of the amount of milk, the amount of butter, and the amount of fat, sugar it has in this. It is enriched. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna shape this, right? So, first forming we're gonna take all the edges, fold them over each other. Bam, easy. Take it, flip it. I always wanna make sure I got flour on my hands. That way the dough doesn't stick. Then we're gonna take the dough and we're gonna move it. Move it around. What we're trying to do, we're trying to close those seams. We're gonna do this now. Does it have to be perfect? No. There you have it. And then again, we can check the suppleness of that dough. We want some spring back. You touch it, see how it's coming back into place? That's what you want. So now I'm gonna butter a holding dish. You can either use butter or oil. And then this is gonna go into it for the next few hours to proof. Again, proofing is what creates structure. When you bite into a loaf of bread or a piece of bread, you get that spring back. It also makes to where that bread doesn't collapse on itself. It's kind of what you want for a good burger. Remember, we're making burgers, guys. Some people would say that if the burger is a sum of its parts, then the bun itself is everything holding it together. That is the burger, because without the bun, what do you got? All right, so that's looking good. I wipe my hands off. We're gonna get some oil. Guys, I got oil here. We're gonna get it in this pan. Again, you can use anything to kind of hold your dough. I don't want this dough to stick when I go and take it out of here. So again, that's one reason why we're gonna oil it. All right, so that's oil. You take the dough, gently, we place it in. Next time we see this, it's probably gonna be more than doubled in size. That's when I'll start messing with it. Doubled in size, so it's gonna be then filled up more than half this container. That's how I know it's ready to be formed and shaped into my buns. Stay tuned. All right, now we back. This is how you know your dough is active. That yeast is working, right? So when I put this in there, it was like this. It's now been about an hour and a half. We're gonna go ahead and start working with this dough. So this is the time where we actually need to be a little bit more precise than any other time, because I want to make some pretty sizable buns. Not too big, but not too small, right? This dough can also be used to make cinnamon rolls. You can make donuts with this. Really versatile dough, right? So I'm going to get my buns shaped. I'll show you this here shortly. And we're going to put this dough in the fridge for a few hours. So what the fridge does, it actually ferments the dough, and then we get a we're gonna make something that's got more of a depth and flavor. The coolness of that fridge when we're making the dough. Just give it a few hours. I would have liked to start this last night, get my buns portioned out, and then put them in the fridge overnight. I don't have the time. So we're going to still make use of the time we do have, put it in the fridge for 3 or 4 hours. Let me show you what we're going to do. So, as you can see, look at that dough. It's risen. I'm going to do what most probably would not do. We got to push it down. We got to get it pushed down. My hands are clean. All right, so now we're going to take it out of here. As you can see, there is no sticking. We're going to take it out of here, and we're going to get it onto my clean surface. Now, we need to make sure that it's all pushed down. Now I got to portion this dough out. So I don't have one of those nice, neat bench scrapers you'll see bakers use. Eventually I will get one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tear some off, right? We're going to get my scale turned on. It's 88. I'm looking to 105 to 110 grams. That's 106. That's 130. That's a little bit too much. So we'll go through doing this. That's 130, a little bit too much. You do this until you get 110. So that's 113. I can live with that. We put this dough ball over here, right? That's one. So there's that. 85. It's too much. 110. Perfect. So what we want to do is make sure that all of our dough balls that are going to then be used to make our buns are about the same, I would say size, but not size. Make sure they're the same volume, right? Because then we can expect even cooking. I need at least 4 to 6 buns from this dough. Let's see what this gives us. That's a little bit too much. This dough, like I said, this dough is also pretty versatile. It can be used to make a few different things. That's a little bit too much. Let's see what this gives us. 100. Nah, perfect. It's 4. We should be able to get six buns out of this. So it's 97, 101. This. That'll be Seth, but we're gonna do this to make it a little bit even. All right, so we got about 6 evenly weighed balls. We don't need this anymore. Next, let me show you what I'm gonna do. We got these over here. So now, shaping. This is probably one of the most important deals when you're making buns. I can make hot dog buns using the same recipe. There's a myriad of things I can do. I wanna show you, you can do this at home. This is not too hard. So now, like you guys seen me shaping that big dough ball earlier, we're gonna do it, except it's gonna be on a much smaller scale. Take the dough, end over end, end over end. I'm using my fingers. Best tools you got in the kitchen. We go here, and we're gonna take it. And what we're doing is we're trying to seal off those ends. Seal off those ends. So this dough will proof for another couple of hours in the fridge. That's actually called a cold ferment. So I've got one done. Again, I still want to make sure that my my rising action is there. I give it a little touch. You see how to rise? That's what we want. That means that my dough, it has built enough structure. Some people know it as gluten development on the inside, right? So we're gonna take this. Actually, we're gonna leave it here for now. We're gonna do these others. I'll do 1 or 2 more, and then I'll see you guys here in a bit. So then, take the end over end, end over end, end over end. Flip it over. Then we shape. So inherently, this is what's actually going to become a hamburger bun. Doesn't look like it yet. I mean, if I push it down some, doesn't look like it yet, but I promise you, once these rise again, what I might even do is put a pan over it so that pan is touching the tops. I might spray that pan with butter or on some oil. So there's a little pressure applied to these so they actually get a little wider, more resemblance of a hamburger bun. Nothing too hard. So that's two. I'm gonna do these other four, and then I'll be back with you guys. Here's what we got. All right. So now I'm gonna get these probably into my oven, not on, with just the light on. That light throws out enough heat to let these go ahead and proof a second time. Okay, why do we proof? All right, so we're trying to improve on the structure of this bread. Now, this bread may be very good right now if I baked it off. I'm not gonna do that. I've learned from trial and error that the longer proofing times help. Now, can you overproof? Indeed you can. And what does that mean? It could mean for you, depending on what ingredients you use, that you get more of a crumbly crumb, right? Your bread is wanting to fall apart. Or your yeast is inactive, it doesn't arise at all. Or you might have more of a chew than what you want, right? Meaning I'm chewing on this piece of bread for however long, right? But I assure you, these ain't gonna be that way. I've done this recipe enough times to know that this bread turns out for me a solid product for me and my family to eat. Now, again, I can use this bread for several different things. I can make loaf bread. I can make cinnamon rolls. Actually, on my channel, I plan on doing cinnamon rolls. We're gonna have a little cinnamon roll and bacon action coming up soon. It probably won't be next week. It'll probably be in the next few weeks. Yeah, so I smell the dough. I can tell that yeast is eating off the sugar. That's why we add sugar to this recipe. In many cases, when you're using yeast, you're providing a food source from which that yeast to eat. So, I love baking. Baking was always my first love. Then I got into smoking meat, right? So we're gonna let these go ahead and proof. I don't mean to bore you with my talking. And then we're gonna be back for these beef smokehouse burgers. See you in a little bit. Just pulled these out of the oven. The only thing I've done so far is hit them with butter. Of course, butter makes everything better. So the longer these set, the better they'll get, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. My meat's still in the fridge, and I'm gonna leave it in there for another hour or so. Here shortly, I'll go ahead and get a fire started to get my meat over some hot coals, and we're gonna build some burgers. I'll be back. I might show you guys some footage from over the fire cooking, and then other than that, we're gonna come back. And I ain't do a side with these burgers. Usually, we do potato chips or fries. Today we're gonna change it up. We will have potato chips, but I'm also doing a buffalo ranch chicken dip, right? For you to put those chips in. Since we don't have fries, this would be like the ultimate side. Actually, it'll be the ultimate game day food to go with these burgers. Stay tuned. All right, as we bring this cook to a close, so I already know these are about done, and they're juicy. You can see the juice in there. Juice, grease, all right? That's what you want. That's why I use that short rib. It's got a lot of fat on it, but it's delicious fats once cooked right over the heat. That's actually delicious. It's a little bit salty, a little bit peppery. That's what we're going for. I'm gonna go ahead and get these off, and we're gonna go ahead and build some burgers. I'll be back. All right, we back. Let's put this thing together, right? So I've got burger sauce that I made. We're gonna put a little of this in the burger. Get it on there. I like a lot on mine, right? This is gonna go to one of my family members, right? So we're gonna get top and bottom bun. All right, put that over there. Get it on there. It's the main thing, get it on there. Now we're gonna go with a little bit of shredded, AKA shredded lettuce. That's on the bottom of the bun for structure. Then I go with some onions. Then I've got some homemade pickles. I made these earlier today, giving them a taste. They taste just like, actually they taste a little bit better than store-bought. Get these on now. You already see what it is, baby. You see what it is that I'm trying to accomplish over here. All right, now we're gonna get one of those patties. I went with some sharp cheddar cheese on it. There you have it. Give me a little bowl. We're putting this together. You guys see what I'm doing. I didn't make a side. What I do have, everybody's got a bag of chips around. I'm not gonna say the name of the maker, but we've all got them laying around the house. Got my burger here. I promise you, this is one of the most delicious burgers you're gonna taste. I put this burger, or any burger I make from scratch, up against any of the national chains. And I say that with confidence. Yeah. Say it with confidence. Also, what we have here is a Buffalo Ranch chicken dip, right? So, here's what my meal's tonight looking like. My Astros play tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this video up. And here's what we got. You know, let me know down in the comments, what's your favorite burger? Is it, does it have mushrooms? What type of cheese do you like? Do you like sauteed onions? Do you like raw onions? These are all things that make these burgers personalized to us. And especially in the case when we get to do them at home and we get to do what we actually like instead of going out, picking out something that's on the menu, it makes it special. Now, to kind of recap, I started this last night. I grinded a chuck roast, some beef short ribs. Mainly I did the beef short ribs because of the flavor and the fat content. I grounded them and then I made them into burger pucks, right? Then they've been setting in the fridge, and again, no seasoning. The only thing I did before I got them on the fire was salt and pepper, and then really one of my favorite seasonings that also has garlic in it. What you guys did not see off camera, I made my own pickles, cut up the cucumber, made my own pickling solution. I chopped up some lettuce, aka shredders. I chopped up my white onion, and I made my own burger sauce. On the back end of that, what I also did was made my own buns, right? I do this even before I started YouTube. I was baking my own buns, baking my own hot dog buns. We will inherently have like 2 or 3 left over. I'll be finding something to do if somebody doesn't take them and just eat the bun alone. They're quite delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out. Thank you for your support. Hey, get in the kitchen, make your own burgers, make your own patties. Be creative. Let's go cook something, most importantly. See you guys in the next video.